They told you it's just your brain misfiring. They gave it a clinical name, sleep paralysis, so you'd stop asking spiritual questions. But what if the truth is far more terrifying than a neurological hiccup? What if you're awake in the spirit, but trapped in the flesh, while something else steps into the room? This is rock solid TV. This is red pills. And this one, you'll feel it in your bones. Let's start with the cold hard truth. This isn't new. What we call sleep paralysis today was once called the old hag, the shadow man, mare's ride, succubus, and incubus. Ancient people didn't have EEG machines, but they had eyes, and they saw something. The Sumerians, Egyptians, Greeks, medieval monks, African shamans, even Viking berserkers, all of them recorded stories of being attacked in their sleep by spiritual beings. They described dark figures choking them, voices whispering in ancient tongues, a weight on the chest they could not fight. Sound familiar? In 2016, a global sleep study tried to categorize this phenomenon. Guess what they found? Over 60% of reported cases included the exact same elements: a shadow entity, feelings of doom, the inability to move, and the presence of evil. That ain't coincidence. That's a pattern. You can call it folklore. You can call it psychology. But when every culture on Earth describes the same being creeping into bedrooms at 3 a.m., that's not a dream. That's a visitation. You won't hear this in your average Sunday sermon, but the Bible talks about exactly what modern folks are calling sleep paralysis. It's just that it uses older language, clearer language. KJV. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day. Straight up warning. The Hebrew word there, pachad, it means dread, sudden fear, a paralyzing panic. Job 4:13-16. In thoughts from the visions of the night, when deep sleep falleth on men, fear came upon me and trembling, which made all my bones to shake. Then a spirit passed before my face. The hair of my flesh stood up. It stood still, but I could not discern the form thereof. An image was before mine eyes. There was silence, and I heard a voice. Job didn't have melatonin deficiency. He wasn't stressed about his 401k. He was describing a full-on spiritual encounter. Science has come a long way. We can map your brainwaves, we can track REM cycles, we can tell you when you're dreaming, blinking, twitching, or drooling on the pillow. But there's one thing science can't do: explain why millions of people see the exact same shadowy figure during sleep paralysis. The experts say it's hypnagogic hallucination. They say your mind gets caught between dreaming and waking. But here's the kicker: hallucinations are random. These aren't. The people aren't just seeing weird things. They're seeing the same things: a tall, dark shadow in the corner, red eyes, pressure on the chest, paralyzing whispered threats in languages they don't speak. Let me ask you something. How does a 14-year-old kid in Brazil describe the exact same experience as a 70-year-old woman in Iceland? Same creature, same feeling, same fear. That's not neuroscience. That's something deeper. Subject reports dark figure entering room, unable to move, lasting 30 seconds. Even the top scientists admit we can't explain the consistency of the hallucinations. Translation: we see the pattern, but we won't say the word demon. Let me say it for them. It's not a glitch in your sleep cycle. It's not just brain fog. This is spiritual interference. And if you give these things a crack in the door, they'll slither in like smoke through a keyhole.
It would come around 3:17 a.m. I couldn't scream, I couldn't move, I'd hear growling. I thought I was going crazy until I called out the name of Jesus, and it vanished.
It stood in the doorway for years. I'd pray silently. One night, I said out loud, "In the name of Jesus Christ, leave." And it hasn't returned since.
They didn't quote sleep studies. They didn't take Ambien. They spoke one name, the only name these shadow things can't stand: Jesus Christ. What the testimonies prove is this: you're not helpless, you're not crazy, you're not cursed, but you are being hunted. Here's the truth: God never left you defenseless. He gave you armor. But armor is useless if it stays in the closet. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. This ain't metaphor. This is war prep. When you speak the name of Jesus with authority, those dark spirits don't just back off, they run. This is rock solid TV. This is Red Pills, and tonight you take back your night.